Welcome everyone to another Sighting Cup of Joe, and today we have Bill Walsh in the house, guys.
Hey everybody.
It has been a while. Bill has been on the journey of getting, what we call it here in the South, hooked. He's getting married, and first of all, congratulations, you first time, but the second time is coming up soon. So,
Yeah,
man, what's been going on, Bill?
good. Just having fun, working on different businesses right now, and just enjoying life.
Nice. Enjoying life. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining us today. I hope you're able to grab all the links. I gave you a second link just in case the first one didn't work for you. Always give you the option. I'd like to thank all you guys around the world for tuning in. Man, what a very awesome week. It's pretty outside today, and there's a big, huge, I think it's the Susan G. Komen walk or run this weekend. So Dallas is going to be very, very busy, as it is each day, but this particular day is going to be very busy. So thank you guys for waking up and joining us. And for those who are watching the replay, thank you for joining as well. Today we're going to talk about something that you probably haven't really thought about in a while, and we're going to bring on a very important guest here. His name is Mike Warren. He's got a lot of amazing stuff to share with us today, and we're going to be talking a little bit about flipping businesses. And this is something that, you know, as a business owner, as myself and Bill as well, we're always thinking about, you know, starting businesses. But today, we're going to talk about flipping businesses. And with that being said, I'd like to bring on Mike. Mike, how are you doing today, my man?
I am doing great, sir. How are you doing? Thanks for having me on the call, you guys. Really, really appreciate it. Should be a lot of fun today.
Oh, yeah, it's always going to be fun with us. And I'm glad to see you looking sharp, looking bright today. Where are you calling from?
I am coming from Colorado. It's a great day today. Going to do some golfing today. Have a good time. So yeah, great. Every day above ground is a good day.
Yes, Colorado. Wow. So you're gonna probably be getting some real cold heat. Well, not heat, but real cold air in the next month or so, maybe.
It's starting to get a little bit nippy now, but yeah, in a little bit it might get a little bit snow here soon, so it'll be fun. I'm a big skier, so it works out great. It's all about living the lifestyle that you want as opposed to somebody else's lifestyle.
Boom, boom,
Yep.
Very nice. So, do you ski?
I ski and snowboard, but I do not snowshoe. I have no interest in walking in the snow. I want to slide on it.
Very nice. So, we kind of talked a little bit about what we're gonna, what you were doing today. You was excited about. So, what do you plan on doing today after this show?
I'm going golfing. I'm going to hit the lead. Boom! I'm going to go smack that little white golf ball on top of that big giant ball and see if I can get it to go roll down a little bit further and have some fun today.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. So, have you always lived in Colorado? Where'd you grow up at?
I actually was an Army brat, so I've grown up, choose the state. I've been almost every single state in the U.S. We moved every couple of years, but not when I was a kid. But yeah, the last couple of years before high school or in high school were in New Jersey, in fact. So I'm a Jersey boy from that aspect, but joined the Army myself and traveled the world for a while and came back and was in Virginia for a long time.
Wow.
Out here.
Right. So in high school, did you do anything? Did you get a chance to do anything particular? Like, were you a band nerd, or were you in kind of organization, or anything at all that led you to what you're doing these days?
I really didn't have time for a whole lot of the school activities. I tried, but I was actually out there hustling and making money. So I was always starting business. I'm a serial entrepreneur. My very first business, get this, right? So my first business was when I went out to take the trash out. I was probably 6 years old. I went to take the trash out on an Army base. Now, and on an Army base, you have to take the trash out to big giant dumpsters, right? Everybody in the community takes their trash there. So I'm throwing the trash out, and I look inside, and I see this comic book in there. I look around, nobody's around, so I decided to climb in. So I climb in there and get the comic book, and I said, well, I got one. I wonder if there's any more. So I'm shuffling around, and while I'm in there, I find all sorts of really cool stuff. So next thing you know, I dumped a bag out, put all the cool stuff in it, and I'm hauling it out like Santa Claus, carrying all this stuff. 6-year-old kid, right? Bag's about as big as me. So I have all this stuff, and then I'm looking, well, gosh, if I got this much in this one, I wonder what there's in everybody else's dumpster. So I go around and look at all these other dumpsters. Next thing you know, I have bags of stuff. My parents, needless to say, are not happy with me as a 6-year-old. They say, you need to get rid of that stuff. Go dump it out. I said, but I don't want to dump it. I want to keep it. They said, dump it out or go do a yard sale and sell it. So I'm like, okay, I'll do a yard sale. So I did a yard sale, and it was really interesting. I would have lots of people coming by offering me money for this stuff that other people threw away. And the best part is every once in a while, I'd have somebody come by and they'd say, hey, didn't I throw that away yesterday? and they'd say, well, can I have it back? I said, no, but you can buy it. And they would buy it back. And so I was, that was my first kind of foray into starting a business. Realized, wow, one person's trash is another person's treasure. Yeah,
that's awesome.
On from there.
Let me get this straight. You said you were 6 years old?
Yeah, I was 6. I was a dumpster diver.
Well, you know what's great about that is if you see a 6-year-old that's digging in the dumpster, they're not really going to say anything. They're just going to like, oh, he's just playing. But you're like, I'm making money, baby.
I was making money. I learned to go behind what's called the post exchange, right, the PX, where at this Army base, they would throw all sorts of stuff away. Hair dryers, TVs, irons, toasters, all sorts of stuff that had a little bit of damage. They just throw it away. Well, I used to go and get all that stuff, and I'd sell it. Next thing you know, by the time I was 8 years old, I guess, I was making like $150 a weekend.
Wow.
I was looking at me going, what? And is that, what? I get down and out, what are you doing? And I was buying toys and comics and candy, and I was having the best time.
Wow.
And so that taught me, you know what? I'm going to make money by finding the stuff other people find to be worthless and convert that somehow because somebody wants it, right? Why not make money from it?
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So is there anyone in your family at that time who was an entrepreneur as well that you saw or that kind of triggered that, or was that just something that you just said, I'm going to do?
Well, I'd say probably my dad was an entrepreneur, although I didn't recognize what it was. So what my dad did at the time is he would take these airplanes, little single-engine and twin-engine planes that were wrecked, meaning people crashed them. So he'd get 2 or 3 of them, he'd piece them together and make a new one. And I remember I used to hate to work on it because I was small. He'd make me crawl all the way through the back of the plane, running the cables and stuff for the flaps and stuff like that. So I think my first idea or look at entrepreneurship and creativity, finding trash and turning it into something else, was probably from my dad.
Nice.
Interesting. Huh.
Very nice. So was your dad like more of a workaholic? Did you see that in him, or is that something that you put up?
No, he was more of an alcoholic, but yeah. I mean, truth be told, right?
Right,
so,
right.
He's military. He did this stuff on the side, played a little bit, but drank a lot too. So, just how it is.
Right. So being a Army brat, as we can say, you've seen a lot of people in a lot of different areas. Has there anyone that caught your eye as far as, and we're trying to move forward though, anyone who had caught your eye that you saw that had that entrepreneurial spirit in those days?
In those days, it was, I just liked watching business people, right? And what I saw was the lifestyle, right? Not the gangster lifestyle, but the businessman who drove around in limos, had these private jets. They were showing commercials even back then, going to the islands, and you had these really rich people. I'm like, I want that. Why can't I have that? And, a lot of people said, oh, well, you got to have education. You got to do this. You got to come from the right family, or you have to already have money in order to get that. And I'm like, that's not fair. But I should be able to get it anyway. And I remember one of my friends, I won't mention his name in case he ever watches. It won't be fun. But now his parents were pretty wealthy. They actually owned a funeral home. And the joke was, oh, everybody must be dying to give you business, right? That kind of a thing.
Right.
But he always had all the toys, and I always wanted all the toys, so it made me hustle even more. So I learned to go out and find ways of being creative to get money. So I had paper routes. I was doing yard sales. I was finding ways of making money. I was hustling. I wasn't taking advantage of people, but I was working for the money that I got. I saved, I reinvested, I made more.
Very nice. Very nice. Bill, what is that, a dog or something?
Oh, I thought you could.
All right, so awesome. As he's muted out. So real quick, when did you know that you were going to be what you were doing right now? I mean, was it during school that you thought, you know what, I'm going to be this entrepreneur, I'm just going to be rich, or I'm just going to be successful? When did you know it was time?
Well, let's back up a little bit to kind of walk into how I kind of figured it out.
Right.
Because in high school, when I was a junior in high school, my parents sat me down and said, "We have no money for you to go to college. So you got to figure out what you're going to do. We don't know. We don't have any money, right?" So I came from a family of 5 boys, and nobody went to college. So the question was, okay, what am I going to do? I figured, well, gosh, if I go to college, I'm going to end up washing dishes or something like that. And while that's okay, it wasn't what I really wanted.
Right.
And I ended up joining the military as a way of trying to get the GI Bill and stuff like that, to try to get money for college, because I figured college was my path to try to do stuff. What I was watching back then were these big M&A guys, right, like Lehman Brothers, Kohlberg Kravis, and Goldman Sachs, that were doing these big, giant billion-dollar mergers back then. Now it's $20, $30 billion mergers, but they were doing these big mergers. And I thought that would be a lot of fun, but I didn't have the education. And I didn't think that I was smart enough to go to Harvard or Yale or Princeton or stuff like that, mainly because I couldn't afford it anyway, so it didn't. Who cared?
Right.
And because I couldn't afford it, I, of course, didn't study for the SATs. I didn't know any. I was like, why bother? I'm not going. And so as I was in the Army, though, I started looking at, well, how can I make more money? And I wanted to go and ultimately do, this arbitrage of buying and selling companies, because it's really what it is. You buy low, you sell high, that kind of thing, right? You trade companies. But I didn't have the money, I didn't have the experience, didn't have the skills, and there's nobody to teach me. So when I got out of the military, actually just before I got out, I started looking at, well, what could I do to make even more money? Well, in the Army, I went to a specific school. I was actually trained as an engineer and kind of the spy stuff back then and special intelligence stuff like that. So I guess I had a decent brain that put me into the right kind of school. And go figure that.
Right.
The military always makes mistakes. So I got out. I started doing some real estate, and I really was making a lot of money in real estate. What happened though is in October 19th, 1987, on Black Monday, I lost everything. Everything I owned, I was making a lot of money in real estate, invested in the stock market, and boom, in one day, it's gone. Nothing. In fact, I was in the hole at the end of the day. So I remember talking with one of my mentors about, what do I do? Because I'm so mad, I've lost everything. And he was like, Mike, who cares? And I'm like, what do you mean, who cares? Right? It seems kind of harsh, kind of cold. He's like, I don't care, and nobody else cares either. I'm like, yeah, but you don't understand. And he's like, Mike, do you have your health? I said, yeah. He says, do you know how to make money? I said, well, of course I do. I'm making a lot of money in real estate. He says, then go make some more. I said, well, yeah, but if I keep doing real estate, which works, and I still do some real estate today, but what I know about real estate is that if I do one deal, when I get paid, I don't make any more money unless I do another deal and another deal. So I'm on that wheel constantly trying to make money and do deals. I wanted more passive income. I wanted what I later learned from Robert Kiyosaki was that 4th quadrant of having my money work for me.
Right.
So those listeners that are familiar with Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, you'll understand a little bit about that. And so I talked to my mentor. I said, well, what could I do? And he says, well, you should do a little bit maybe of what I do, which is I buy and sell companies. So I had somebody teach me a little bit about that. And now all of a sudden I had this back door into doing what this big, giant, multi-billion-dollar M&A guys, merger and acquisition company guys were doing. But I had a back door into doing smaller deals that they weren't interested in, but it was wide open territory. And that's that field that I specialize in. And that's when I knew, so I'm down that path, and I've been full throttle ever since. I do real estate because it's easy money. But here, let me give you a quick example, right? What I've noticed is that for me to find, negotiate, manage, and sell one business is the same amount of time it takes me to do one real estate deal.
Oh.
Now the difference is, so let's talk about what the real difference is, right? You think about, wow, one business, one real estate, yeah, so what, right? It makes the same amount of money. but actually there's a big difference. The amount of money I make in one business transaction is equivalent to approximately 97 houses.
Nice.
So I'd have to do 97 houses to make the same amount of money I make on one real estate deal. That's big to me.
That's
All
big.
of a sudden, that was like, what the heck? I was going to say a different word, but what the heck was I doing?
Hey, this is
Right,
Cup of Joe.
That's true. It's the we can say whatever we want. But if you think about it, right, it's like that's when I started getting on that path, and that was really the late 80s, so a long time ago, right, because I was 7 when I started in this business. I'm teasing. I look younger than I am. But, I started doing that, and then, so that kind of put me on the path, and that's when I knew I wanted to do it, and I've just been doing it every year since. Now I just do a lot of deals every year. Doing 5 or 10 deals a year, not uncommon. It's actually pretty easy to do, in fact, because what I learned, it's like doing real estate. You can rehab your own property, right? Which means you're in there, you're ripping up the carpet, you're putting down new carpet, you're painting, you're doing the plumbing, you're replacing windows, you're doing everything in the house in order to get it ready for resale. Or you can hire a crew who comes in and gets it done in a fraction of the time, but you spend a little bit of money to get it done. So what's more valuable, time or money? Well, I've only got 24 hours a day, just like you guys, just like everybody that's watching us. So time became much more valuable to me. So I realized, you know what? I need to let other people do the work, even though they may not do it the same way I will. It's good enough to get it out the freaking door, so let them do the work. And I apply the same strategy to business. Really easy. I let other people do all the work to grow these companies for me, and I just make the money. I like it.
Very nice.
So that's a long answer to a short question.
That's nice. No, that's good. Let's back up a little bit because you said you had a mentor. How did you start hanging around successful people? Because you've seen them. So what did you do to put yourself in that position to be around successful people and get that mentor to you?
Well, I learned early on from my grandfather that I could either learn from somebody that's already done it, or I could figure it out the hard way by trial and error. And so when I was a little kid, just looking at stuff, and I realized, gosh, these old people, they actually knew stuff. So if I just actually talk to them, ask them questions, they might share some of that stuff with me, and I might learn. And so I learned really young to do that. And so as I started doing real estate, when you want to learn something, you can either figure it out yourself or you can get trained. Well, a lot of people, they buy courses. I did the same thing in real estate. I bought the courses, I went to seminars and stuff, and then I'm looking at that, and I was still struggling. I'm trying to figure, okay, what am I missing? I'm buying all the courses. I'm doing okay, but what I really needed was access to somebody who was actually involved in it on a regular day-to-day basis that would be willing to mentor me. Right. What I figured out, though, is these people who are really successful, they don't have the time to mentor you. You have to incentivize them, which means I have to pay them.
Right.
So I learned early on I'm willing to pay for access. So I took some of my profits, I invested in access to them, which gave me access to so many other people, resources, time, deals that I never would have had on my own because I was down here on the ladder and they were way, way up here.
Right.
So all of a sudden by paying for access, I went from here to here. Made a big difference. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and so when did you decide that to make that change? I mean, did you just all of a sudden say, you know what, I'm struggling? Did you try to do it by yourself for a while?
I sure did. I tried to do everything by myself because I'm like, why should I pay these guys this kind of money, right? I can figure this out on my own. And I'd get a little bit, I'd make some money, I'd lose money in other deals. I'm like, man, I just beat my head against the wall. Okay, fine, I'll finally pay somebody something. And I realized, wow, that got me a little bit. And then I found the more I paid, I had access to different levels of people.
Right.
So it was really a level of access. I mean, just to give you, kind of put it in perspective, I started out back then, a couple $1,000s to have access to somebody for a couple hours every so often. I now spend over $300,000 a year for access to my mentors. These are people that are at higher levels than I am, and I don't have unlimited access. So I have very limited access, but they give me access to their network. That's what I need, and it allows me to do much bigger deals, right?
That's
so
awesome.
Graduated from way down here to much higher, right? It's not what you pay, it's what you make with it.
Exactly.
Everybody focuses on, oh, it's going to cost me X amount of money. Why should I take that out of my pocket? It's not what it costs you, it's what it's going to make you that makes all the difference.
Nice. That's very well put. So let's get into, actually, tell us a little bit about what you do. I mean, a lot of our audience right now are probably going, okay, let's hear what he's doing. What's going on? What do you do?
I buy, grow, and sell companies. That's it. But here's the ingredient. I buy them with none of my own money. In fact, I typically use the assets of the company to buy it. Now, I'll give you an example, right? Just to make this really easy. Most people, I think, are fairly familiar with buying a house. Whether they own one or not, they've heard about, oh, go buy your own home, the American dream. So when you buy a house and you go to the bank and say, I would like to borrow money, the bank says, well, what collateral are you going to give us? Well, I'll give you the house as collateral. Yes, I'll put a little bit of a down payment down, but I'll give you my house as collateral. Well, so the bank says, okay, we will put a loan on the house. We will give you that loan so that you can buy it. So essentially, you are using the house, the asset, in order to get a loan to buy it, right? That's called a leverage buyout. I do the exact same thing, but I do it on business. So instead of having real estate that I buy, I use the assets of the business, whether that would be equipment, intellectual property, merchant accounts, whatever it may be. I will borrow against those assets from whoever in order to come up with the cash for the down payment to buy it. Plus, I get owner financing and stuff like that. So I can buy these companies with no money out of my pocket, which means it takes away all of my risk. I'm buying cash flowing companies right now that are making money. These aren't startups. I hate startups. I do startups, done startups all my life, but startups have a problem. They have no revenue. When we start a company, right? If you and I started a company, we'd have to do everything ourselves.
Right.
We have to fund every aspect of it, from legal, marketing, sales, admin, accounting, everything. We got to do it all. Versus when I buy an existing company, $1 million company, it already has all that stuff in place. That's what I do.
Very
Isn't
nice.
that awesome? I mean, like, seriously. Yeah.
You know what? Most people look at it and they go, wait, how do you do that? Right? And people say, well, you can't do that. And I said, but how many examples would you like? 40, 50, or 100 examples of me doing that? Which one would you like?
Right.
And it's very easy to do. I mean, well, you got to know what to do, right? But if you can buy a house, if you take a group of, you go to a real estate investor association or something like that, some kind of a real estate event, and you talk to people, and I'll ask myself, okay, how many people here have ever bought a house no money down? A whole bunch of hands will raise right up, say, yeah, I bought a house no money down. Well, it's the same thing on buying a business no money down. I asked myself, how did you buy the house no money down? They said, we just asked. And then when people say, well, how do you buy the business no money down? I said, I just asked. It's the same thing.
Wow. So how did your first deal go?
My first deal didn't go so well because I didn't know really what I was doing. I bought a landscaping company, of which, okay, I bought a landscaping company, but what it taught me is I bought a job, right? So I learned through trial and error, going back to my mentor, say, okay, I got this company, I got it no money down, but there's nobody there to manage it. I have to manage it, and there wasn't the high growth potential. So one of the things that I look for when I want to buy a company is I want to be able to at least triple the profit. So I want to 3x the profit of the company. Now here's something that's really, really cool that doesn't exist anywhere else in the entire world, is that when you buy and sell companies, you get to sell them based on a multiple of either the gross revenue or the net profit.
Right.
For small companies, you typically sell anywhere from a 1 to 3 multiple. So if you got $1 million company doing $300,000 in net profit, it doesn't sell for 300. It sells for between 1 and 3 times that 300. So it'll sell from 300 to 900. Now, let's say that I triple the profit of the company. Let's watch the math. We keep our numbers the same. If I triple the profit of the company, which is pretty easy to do. Most companies have not a clue on how to run, but you triple the profit of the company, it goes from 300 to 900. Well, it now sells for 1 to 3 times that. It'll sell for 900 to 2.7. 3 times 9, right? There you go.
Wow.
It sells for a whole freaking lot of money.
Right.
It makes it pretty easy because you sell on a multiple. So you look at it, I could buy at the 300, take it up to 900, I could sell it for 900, or I could buy at the 900 and sell it for 2.7. It's always a multiple. So every dollar in additional profit isn't worth $1 in added value. It's worth a multiple in added value. You can't do that in real estate. I can do that in a business. So that's the world of Wall Street, where you have this kind of magic math that Wall Street's come up with, and I want to play in that same game because I like that magic math that makes things go up really, really fast. Did that answer the question?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
it did. So why are not a lot of people doing this? I mean, is it like seems just too complicated, or they just don't understand the method, or?
Well, most people don't know. Just like if you find the average person and they've heard about real estate, but you ask them, well, why haven't you invested in real estate? Because they don't know. They haven't been trained. Or you ask somebody, well, why don't you invest in the stock market? Oh, the stock market's rigged, right? It's set for other people that know what they're doing, right? If you don't know, you don't know. So
Right.
they just make up an excuse.
True.
And the information, what I found, though, about buying and flipping businesses, right, because I buy, grow, and I resell, so I flip them. I don't want to hold them long term. I buy them, I grow them, and I get rid of them, and I cash out. I go on to the next deal. That gives me lump sums of cash. That's what I want, but most people won't take the time to learn. Can you go buy the information in a bookstore? No, you can't. You have to find somebody that's active in the field. It seems to be kind of like a little secret group here on the business side, right? And I work with some partners who want to work with me, but I want parts of their deal, or rather they want parts of my deal. We'll partner up and do a deal. And so that's how I get more deals and more partners, right? You got to find somebody that does it.
That makes sense.
Reading a book that says, buy a business, it's not the same thing.
And of course, things are changing,
Yeah. Everything changes every year, right? I'm adding new things, tweaking it, but I'll tell you, it's repetitive and it's predictable. I like that. And it's pretty safe because I have no liability and I don't put any money into a deal, so therefore, what's my risk? Oh,
Exactly.
really don't have it.
That's the biggest thing right there.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
It is.
I like having no risk. I'm very kind of risk averse after I lost all my money in the stock market, right? And I thought I was trained. I went to all the seminars, but I did all the investments that everybody said not to do. I did all the risky ones because they were much more exciting. Buying and holding stock in mutual funds, I thought was boring to me. I didn't want to do that. I wanted money, baby. I wanted to do some deals.
Right.
And then I got spent is what happened.
Oh, no, exactly.
Oh, yeah. So it taught me a big lesson, and, I won't do that again.
Oh my goodness. So how long did it take you to master this skill, Mike? Sometimes it takes maybe 6 to 8 months, a year, 2 years, but how long would you honestly say it took you to master what you're doing?
I think the right answer is I still haven't mastered it.
Wow.
And the reason for that is that every deal is a little bit different. I may approach it with 4 or 5 core ways of trying to buy a company, and what I've come up with is 69 ways of buying a company and no money down. I've come up with 69 over the years.
Right.
I know what I'm doing, but I'm still learning, right? Because you're dealing with people, you're dealing with different industries. Now we're even buying app companies, the things that you use for your phones and stuff, right? So I'm buying companies that make apps and have downloads. For instance, we're buying this one company. This particular app has 25 million downloads, and it generates $40,000 a month in net profit. And we're getting almost all owner financing on the deal. And we're leveraging the existing merchant accounts to get the rest of the cash. It's a no money down deal.
That's crazy.
I kind of diverged out of that, but did I still answer your question? I know I keep getting off topic on you, trying to pin me down, and I keep getting off topic.
No,
I gotta pause you, Mike, for a second. Lem, do you see what I'm talking about here? I mean, this is like...
Wow. I cannot believe you just said that. It just totally made me speechless. I was like, really?
Well, and that's, when I first saw your first webinar, I don't even know when it was, I got really excited about the whole thing too, just because of stuff like you said. I mean, I didn't even think about the app world. That's totally different than the physical business.
Yep.
But yeah.
E-commerce is great. Well, let me give you another example, right? So we're buying this one company. What it does is this is nothing. It's not rocket science. They essentially sell all the products that you can find in Walgreens. You've heard of Walgreens, right? So all the stuff you walk in, but they sell it all online and they sell it all overseas because American-made products have a better brand overseas. So what he does is he essentially takes the product, sells overseas, but charges 3 times as much and charges them for shipping.
Wow.
It's a $2.5 million a year business.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. But these deals are out there, right? So I'll give you an example, right? If anybody wanted to open up, do it another time, but open up a tab, and you type in the phrase business for sale. The last time I did that, I got 1.5 billion results. 1.5 billion. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, right?
Wow.
And that's just the ones that are listed. Not to mention, the ones that are unlisted, and some of those are some of the best deals because you have no competition.
Wow.
So plenty of opportunity for everybody, right? Different categories. E-commerce is, I have a private equity group now, right, where we actually buy stuff, but we have lighting companies, trucking companies, taxi companies, e-commerce companies, vitamin companies, health companies, exercise companies, app companies now, media companies. You can buy all sorts of different things. The opportunity is there. I'm trying to work on a TV station in India, of all things.
That's nice.
Right? So it's fun.
So
a lot of things you can do.
So you've actually found a way to seek out these unlisted businesses for sale.
Absolutely. I figured out the pattern. I know how to approach them. I know what to say to them to get them to say, yeah, I'll sell. Or if they don't want to sell, they may even decide, Mike, I really don't want to sell, because this happens a lot. Because I tell them what I'm going to do with the company. They go, well, what if I stayed in with you? Could I do that with you and I get that bigger payday rather than selling today? Can I ride with you? And the answer is, yeah, they can. But now I make them do all the work, and they work for me for free.
Oh, wow.
I like that. I like people who work for free.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. There's a lot of different things out there that you could do to make money, and this right here proves another proof of that, because here we are talking with Mike Warren, and he's talking about selling businesses that he doesn't even own, that he can flip them just like that.
Yeah.
And then go play golf and just smile about it.
There you go. I gotta get a new set of clubs, baby.
Oh, wow. So, have you figured out how not to, do or repeat what you've done in that first deal? Have you actually gone through and now know how to avoid all those mistakes?
Yeah, but I'm not perfect at it, right? I don't think anybody is. But what it's done is made me, every deal that I've done over the years, and I'm always going to make a mistake. But the thing is, the mistakes I make aren't so bad that I lose the deal or it costs me a ton of money. I learn from them faster. I get out of it faster. So what I've really learned is how to avoid the bad deals. Because it's better to not have any deal than it is to have a bad deal, right? Because a bad deal is hard to get out of. What do you do? It's like, I don't want to really take over somebody else's problem. And some people may think, well, gosh, buying a company, if somebody's going to give it to you and they're going to finance it, there's probably a lot of problems. Mm-hmm. One person's problems doesn't mean it's a problem for you. It's just for them. They're what's called the don't want it. They don't want that business. They want out. They're retiring. And guess what? So let me just mention this to you. I love buying companies from people who don't want their company anymore, specifically people who are retiring. Right now, just in America alone, there's over 10,000 baby boomers a day that are retiring. And guess what? 18% of them have a small business that they have to sell. Now, here's a sad thing. If they don't sell that company when it comes time for them to retire, they shut it down. Even though it's profitable, making money, they shut it down and they walk away.
Wow.
The real question to think about is, okay, if they're willing to shut it down and walk away, what's the value of that business to them? Zero. Which means if I come in and I offer them anything, they're happy so long as we keep their employees employed, right? Because the employees have families. Right? It's about jobs, right? It's not about firing people. It's about making the companies grow and hiring people. So I'm really paying it forward, and I'm hiring people. I'm not firing people. I like to hire. I want to grow the company and then resell it.
Jeez.
Very nice. Very nice. So how do you keep up in the industry? Since it's changing over and over again. Do you try to stay ahead of the game, or you just kind of going with the flow?
I'm always traveling and. Well, you may see a couple of these photos behind me, right?
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you that.
Do you know who that guy is over there?
Yeah.
The one with the cowboy hat, you know who he is?
I really can't see him, but I saw Branson. I thought, okay.
Yeah, Branson, that's Bret Michaels, lead singer of Poison, the Apprentice winner.
Oh.
We're actually hanging out on his tour bus there. Right? I got another wall over there that just has a whole bunch more photos, right? So I hang around with people that have similar attitudes and mindsets. When you start elevating your game to a different level, other people want to hang around with you who are also successful. So there's a true statement. Goes kind of like this: you are who you hang around with.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're not making enough money, you're not happy with your life, you're not satisfied with what you're doing, you need to hang around with different people. You know, if you're going to sit around and play Xbox all day on the weekends, well, guess what? You're going to have the Xbox lifestyle. Right? I go golfing, and guess what? I get deals on the golf course because I'll go golfing by myself, not necessarily with friends, or I might take one friend. So a little bit later today, I'm going with one friend. And on the golf course, once in a while, not every time, but once in a while, I run across people that have a small business and they may want to sell, or they may know somebody else that has a business that would like to get out. Guess what? It's a referral. When I get a referral like that, I have no competition and it's not listed. Easy deal.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing. That's good though. I've heard a lot of people go play golf just to make deals on the golf course. And you know what? When you're out there, and I know because I play golf too, you're talking about everything, and you get to stay with these guys for 18 holes, sometime more than that. You know.
That's right. You get the 19th hole, and that's when the deals are done. But rule number one, right? If you're golfing, never talk about business before the first 6 holes.
That's
After
right.
Hole number 6, then you can talk about business. Because nobody wants to really go and talk about business on the golf course, right? Even if you know you're there to talk about business, you don't talk about it because this is actually a key little secret. The reason you don't talk about it is because they're wondering why you're not talking about it.
Yes.
Right? So by the time the 6th hole comes around, they finally usually can't stand it and they'll ask you. Now that
that's true.
They've opened it up and it's like, okay, here comes the sale, baby.
Yeah.
Right? You got to have that conversation.
When I was like 19 or 20, I remember going golfing, and we would be there with my cousin because he was like the guru of golf. I always tried to compete with him, but when we were paired up with guys, it would be like the 7th hole, and they're like, "So what do you guys do?" They would always do that because you're talking about everything before that,
Yep.
So
you did all the personal stuff. You bonded. You did all that. You got a feel for who they are. Okay. Well, what the heck do you do anyway? How do you get out here and you go golfing, right? So guess what? When I golf, right, and I golf during the week, who are usually the ones that are out golfing? They're the ones that are retiring or have a business that are about to retire that's running well that they need to do something with.
right.
You got to think about where your market is. Golf memberships are really worth it.
That's nice. Man, this is great information for those who are watching this right now. Where do you see the future with this, Mike?
Well, for me or in general, I just see I guess I'll answer that both ways, right? For me, I don't see an end in sight. So, I've had people say, "Well, Mike, you're going to retire," and I kind of tried that, and it's boring. I like doing what I do. It's like, because what I do isn't work, right? I'm very passionate. I eat, breathe, and sleep this stuff because I look at the challenge of the deal. What I suck at is running a company. I'm no good at it. So I find other people are really good at it. I can focus on the part of, I can find a deal, I can build a relationship, I can talk to people, I can negotiate it, and then I pass it off to somebody else and let them run it. So that's easy. Just keep doing it. And the best part is I get to travel all around the world. These companies pay me to come in and take them over, right? So they'll pay for my travel, come out and everything else. So I get to travel the world, meet some really cool people, and I don't see this slowing down anytime soon. In fact, because of the baby boomers, the business is actually picking up a lot. There's a lot of deals out there right now, and it's a sad fact. So many companies that are profitable are shutting down because there's nobody to buy them. They think their company's messed up. They don't know what to do with the company. So they just, nobody wants to buy my company. My books aren't clean, or I'm having problems in it. Nobody will ever want to buy my company. Just because it's a problem for them doesn't mean it's a problem for you, right? We're back to that analogy.
Right. Exactly. Well, I get that. It still makes sense, though. You know? So that leaves room for there's always a business out there to buy.
Oh, there's plenty. You could type business for sale Australia, business for sale Canada, business for sale Venezuela, business for sale Russia. You'll find millions of different companies, different results, right? It doesn't matter what country I'm in, and we're buying them in America, in Mexico, Canada. We have it in Chile, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Germany, and now Russia. I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple.
Right.
Oh, Greece. I have one in Greece now, too, in which case they flew me over and stayed on the beach in a villa for a week while I closed that deal, and they paid for the whole thing.
Have you ever found a potential buy and just said, nah, no thank you, or do you research it before you get there?
I've had deals that I decided that I don't want to do the deal, and generally it's because of the owner. I don't trust the owner.
That makes sense.
One of the things that I found, right, this may come off a little bit weird, but all sellers lie. Okay, just like in real estate, all sellers lie. Now, it may not be intentional, but they're not going to disclose everything to you. It's buyer beware. You need to do your own due diligence to figure out what's going on, right? If somebody is selling a house and it's got a crack somewhere, they may have covered up the crack with a little plaster. You know, is it a foundational issue? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, but, right? You get the idea, right? So a business owner doesn't talk about all the problems with the company. They talk about only the good things because they want you to buy it.
Right.
So I know that all sellers kind of lie in that realm of what I just talked about. So if I look at it and say, okay, well, how do I decide what do I want to do? It's really a gut feeling. If somebody is being sleazy and argumentative and stuff like that in the beginning, what do you think the relationship's going to be like down the road?
Yeah,
it's going to get worse. Right. You know what? I don't. Life is too short to work with people you don't like.
Exactly.
So I'd rather move on to the next deal. I also look at a company and say, for instance, I had somebody try to sell me a pet store. And you may remember earlier I said I'm only interested in companies that I can at least triple the profit.
Right.
How do you triple the profit on a pet store?
Oh.
I don't know. I can't figure it out. So why should I buy it? Even if they want to give me the business, right, why should I buy it? I want to buy, grow, and resell. I don't want to buy and keep it steady because there's no – what I got is a job. What I want is a lifestyle. I don't want a job. Right? So I look at the profit potential of the company. If the owner can't tell me how they would grow the company with unlimited capital, how would you grow it? If they can't tell me other than, oh, I'd start a whole new location. It costs $1 million. Like, forget that. Right? I want easier ways, easier company, low-hanging fruit. There's plenty of low-hanging fruit deals out there. I don't need to take a company that's only making 3 or 5% margins, got a ton of work and stuff. I don't want that. You know, there are a lot of other deals I could do. Did that answer the question?
Man, you've been answering all the questions and questions I could have asked. So you're doing it.
You can ask anything you want. I may not tell you the answer, but you can ask.
But you know what? When you said all sellers lie, I was thinking it's almost like a car salesman because they know this car is a lemon, but they're going to give it to you anyway. This is going to tell you the good things about it. Although you're back in the shop like 2 or 3 months later, but it's okay. They already got you hooked.
Yep. And well, when you buy a company, because I know that going into it, I put safeguards in it so that if I find something that they didn't disclose, it costs them financially, but I've actually got a reserve account of money that they don't get. However I structure the deal, whether it's a note or there's additional financing that's happening with it, whatever it is, I find a way to penalize them later if it turns out that they lied. Mm-hmm. So it's just like my own little insurance plan.
No, that's good.
And I learned that over the years, too, because I didn't have that in my first couple deals because I didn't know.
Right. So do you do any type of online marketing for this to market to find these different businesses or anything set up like that?
No, I mean, online marketing, I guess that's kind of relative, right? I don't create funnels and I don't drive business owners to websites. What we do is we reach out to the business owners directly or to the brokers, and then we try to buy it that way. That's the easiest way. There's plenty of deals. I developed software, though, that all I have to do is type in some keywords, price range, and country or state that I want, press the button, and grrr, it'll give me 100 or 1,000 of them at a time to choose from that match my keywords and search criteria. So I built some software to make it a little bit easier to do that.
Wow.
And that keep in mind, that's only for the deals that are listed online. It doesn't cover deals that aren't listed because they're not for sale yet. So there's a different approach that we use to go after those people, and you can find them all day long as well. So there's plenty of deals out there that, I just don't have the time to do them all. And so I like partners that help me do some of those deals, and we share in the profits. It works out pretty well.
Right. So you have like a small team that helps you do this?
Yeah, we got offices in Colorado, Florida, the UK. Now doing another office in Australia, South Africa. So yeah, we got them all over the place, and just individual team members that help us find deals, vet deals, meaning we make sure that they're good deals. We look at the numbers and stuff. So it depends on what role different people want to play, but sometimes we give them a cut of the deal. Sometimes we just pay them straight up. Just depends.
Very nice. Wow. I didn't know that. I mean, it makes sense that baby boomers are actually, return each month, and now I think, wow, they actually have some businesses that they could sell. I mean, not all of them are just normal, people. There are some who actually done something in their life.
That's right.
Amazing.
Well, if you look at America, it's built on small business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Small business, right? I mean, you got your larger corporations. Let's take a Hewlett Packard. That's 50, 100,000 people, something like that. But most small businesses are in that 1 to 20 person range. Guess what? Those mom and pop businesses are what have made America great and will continue to make America great. Why let them shut down? Those families, those employees, if that company shuts down, all those people are out of work. That has a trickle-down effect. Because if somebody loses their job, well, now it may cause a foreclosure, may cause them to be late on their other bills they're looking for, right? And it causes them to feel stressed. Their surrounding family, their friends, their network, their neighborhood, right? It causes this ripple effect all throughout America. So, hey, every company we can help has a big ripple effect as well.
Awesome. Well, who's one of your main inspirations? This is the last question in what you do right now. I
like Richard Branson. And to give you an example, Richard Branson owns 430 companies. Now think about that. That's a lot. You might think, why does he own so many? Because he can.
Exactly.
Right? But he also manages those companies because those companies provide cash flow, they provide branding, they provide something that he needs for his other companies, and they're making money, right? It's like, okay, well, some people might say, well, you made a lot of money. Why would you keep doing more? It's like, but it's not about making the money anymore. Now, his conversations, right? Imagine you sit down and you have a conversation with millionaires and billionaires, and you're sitting around the dinner table having a conversation. Do you think you're talking about how your boss sucks and you're trying to make your mortgage payment? No. You're talking about how to change the world. Right? So, I mean, that's the conversation that you need to elevate yourself to. Right? In my neighborhood, on either side of me, I have millionaires, and 4 houses down, I have a billionaire. Right? So what do you think our conversation like? They're a little bit different. We have a lot of fun. Right? We play poker with the city attorney and the mayor, and it's like, you get to play and do things differently, right? Because you elevate yourself. Does it mean that you start there? No. Can anybody get there? Yes. And this is America. Anybody can get there. You just got to have a little bit of drive, determination, and that no-quit attitude. You can get there.
So you would say what you're doing, pretty much anyone could do what you're doing, but they just have to have the right information to do it, right?
Yeah, anybody could do it, right? I get people say, oh, Mike, I'm not smart enough. I don't have the right college degree, or I don't have experience in that particular company. And my answer is, I prefer you not to have any experience in the company that you're trying to buy. The reason is, if you have experience, you're going to try to go in there and fix it. Right? Now you've got a job. If you don't know how to work in that company, then you have to find somebody else to do it. It means you make a little bit less profit in the company, but somebody else does all the work. That's the lifestyle business. Right? So anybody can do what I do. Anybody. We teach people how to do that. We help them. So we have school teachers, we have doctors, we have dentists, we have contractors. I have students. My kids are learning about the business. So anybody can do it any age. There's no limit on it, whether young or old. So anybody can do it. It doesn't matter your experience, and also it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what your credit report is, because nobody ever looks at it. So yeah, anybody can do it.
Wow. Very nice. Awesome. Well, this has been very, very educational, and this has been amazing and eye-opening, I should say, too. And I like to thank you for coming on and for sharing that with us. And Bill, is there anything you want to add to this? Because
thanks, Mike. I mean, you know, like I said, every time I hear you talk, I'm like, that's another idea. You know, that's perfect. So
you're very welcome. You guys, thank you for having me on. You know, hopefully I provided a little bit of education, a little bit of entertainment. You know, I know sometimes I was a little long-winded on some of my answers, but hopefully people got something out of it. You know.
Nah, you weren't long-winded at all. That was good information, and I'm still thinking. I'm just scratching my head over it, going, I did not know that. Now I understand there's a lot of things that you can actually buy online. I mean, now the audience is more like online marketers, offline marketers, but think about it. There are some well-established companies out there who have great ideas that you can actually flip. You know,
Absolutely.
people are flipping websites. Why can't they not flip an established business? You know,
exactly.
There's no difference, right? The only difference between a small deal and a big deal is a couple of zeros. No big deal.
Good point.
I love that.
Very good point. There it is.
I love that. So, Bill, what do we have planned for this later on in the future with Mike? Because I know we want to bring Mike back on because this has been amazing. I know some of you guys out there are just dying to get some of this information. So, how are we going to do this, Bill?
So, on Thursday this week, we're actually going to have Mike back on for another webinar. And the link for everybody, if you want to go register, is videoalpha.net/Mike's webinar. And we're going to post that in the room as well, and then underneath this video. And that'll be on Thursday, and I believe we have it at 2 o'clock. I don't even remember. Yeah, 2 p.m. So if you guys want to jump on for that, it's going to be very exciting, and he's really going to get in a little bit more detailed process and talk about the next level. So
nice. We're talking about adding an extra comma to your life.
I like that.
I like that.
That's a slogan right there.
Yes. All right. I'd like to thank all our audience, those who are watching the replay, for jumping on today. If you have any questions about Saturday Cup of Joe or anything for Mike, you can always go to the website, SaturdayCupOfJoe.com. Go to the right. There is a microphone. You can click and speak your mind, leave a message, and we really appreciate you guys for watching. And once again, Mike, we thank you for coming on, sharing this great, insightful information. We really are excited. I know you're ready to go out to the golf club, or course, I'd say, and make sure you get your water on and whatever beverage you're going to choose, and get ready to make a deal today.
You know, it'd be funny if I actually get a deal with that. I go, hey, guess what I did, guys? You're not going to believe it. But, you know, I'm going to go out. I'm going to have a little bit of fun because, you know, I got to have some fun. I can't work every day. I mean, fortunately, what I do is fun, so that's good. But, you know, being on here laughing with you guys, this has been a blast. I really appreciate having me on, and hopefully everybody got something out of it. And, you know, maybe we can teach people some. And, by the way, on Thursday, I'll actually go in and talk about deals that we did and how we structured and stuff like that. So we'll go into more detail.
Very nice. All right, you heard it, guys, from the main man himself. Thank you, guys, for joining us. We'll have that link on our page, so don't worry. We're going to spread it out into the group, too. So be prepared to join us on Thursday, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.